Hey there, welcome back. Today we've got something really important to talk about, especially if you rely on Social Security or care about someone who does. There are some major changes happening at the Social Security Administration right now. Changes that could affect how you get your benefits, how fast you get help, and even whether you can easily reach someone when you need to. But here's the twist. Some of these changes sound like they're straight out of a tech startup, not a government office. New leadership, artificial intelligence, digital ID cards, and even a controversial group tied to Elon Musk, all playing a role. Yeah, it's a lot, and it's happening fast. So if you're wondering whether your check is safe, whether these digital updates are actually helpful, or whether we're trading convenience for privacy, stick with me. We're going to walk through what's really changing, why it matters, and what you need to keep your eye on. Before we get into it, let me know in the comments. Do you prefer talking to a real person, or are you okay dealing with bots when it comes to your benefits? And if this kind of information helps you or someone you care about, go ahead and subscribe. It's one small click that helps a lot. All right, let's talk about who's now in charge at Social Security. His name's Frank Bisignano. And if you haven't heard that name before, don't worry, you're not alone. He's not a government insider. He comes from the world of big finance and tech, running a huge payment processing company before stepping into this role. President Trump brought him in earlier this year with a very specific goal: make Social Security more digital, more efficient, and a lot less expensive to run. The idea is, if you can modernize the system, you might be able to stretch the money further without slashing benefits. Sound good, right? But here's where it gets a little more complicated. Bisignano isn't just pushing a few website updates. He's working hand in hand with a group called DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. If you've never heard of it, that's because it didn't exist before Trump's last term. Elon Musk helped launch it as a way to fix bloated government programs using engineers, analysts, and technology borrowed from private companies. So yeah, DOGE was meant to clean house, but they've also stirred up a lot of concern. For example, earlier this year, they laid off 7,000 people from the Social Security offices. That's not a typo, 7,000. And they almost closed a bunch of field offices until a judge stepped in temporarily. That's a pretty big shakeup for a system that already struggles with long wait times. What's more, DOGE got caught accessing Social Security databases in ways that raised serious privacy concerns. A lower court actually ruled against them for potentially violating the law, but then the Supreme Court stepped in and reversed it. That decision opened the door again for DOGE to keep doing what it's doing. Now, this has some folks really worried. Think about it. This isn't just any agency. This is where your lifetime work credits are tracked, where your income history is stored, where your retirement and disability benefits live. If anything goes wrong here, it's not just a computer glitch. It can mean missed payments, identity issues, even fraud. And it's not like everyone has the tools to just go online and fix these problems, especially if you're 75 and don't use a smartphone. So then, why is all of this happening? According to Bisignano and the Trump administration, it's about survival. Social Security is running out of money. The number of people collecting benefits is growing faster than the number of people paying into the system. And unless something big changes, there could be cuts on the horizon within the next 10 years. That's why they're betting big on AI. Right now, about 44% of calls to the Social Security hotline are handled by AI and bots. That's almost double what it was a year ago, and they want to push it to over 50% soon. The goal? Shorter wait times, which, honestly, most of us can appreciate. I mean, who hasn't been stuck on hold for nearly an hour just trying to get a simple answer? But, and here's the big but, it's not working great for everyone. Some folks say the bots send them in circles. Others get stuck without the option to talk to a real person. And if you're calling about something complicated, or you need help understanding what a letter means, that bot might not cut it. So yeah, it's fast, but not always helpful. Now let's talk about access. One of the most frustrating changes is that it's now harder to just walk into a Social Security office. A lot of things like changing your bank information or verifying your identity have to be done either online or with a scheduled appointment. That might not sound too bad if you're comfortable with computers. But here's the thing. Almost half of older Americans don't have reliable internet at home. Some don't even have an email address. So what happens to them? That's the part that makes people uneasy. It's like we're speeding ahead with a shiny new system, but not everyone's able to keep up, and they're the ones who need it most. Another thing that's causing stress, the return of stricter overpayment rules. So, let's say Social Security accidentally sends you too much money one month. That's their mistake, right? But under the new policy, they can take up to 50% of your future check to make up for it. That's a lot. It used to be capped at 10% under the previous administration. Some folks are already feeling that pinch, especially those living on fixed incomes where every dollar matters. Imagine losing half your check over a mistake you didn't make. So then, is there any good news in all of this? Well, yes, actually. One of the more popular changes that happened recently is something called the Social Security Fairness Act. It was signed earlier this year and basically fixed a long-standing problem where teachers, firefighters, and other public workers had their Social Security checks reduced because of how their pensions were set up. Now, thanks to the new law, about 3 million people are seeing higher monthly benefits, and some are getting retroactive payments going all the way back to January of last year. That's a real win. One of the rare moments where both political sides actually agreed on something. And next, there's the digital Social Security card that's launching this summer. You'll be able to pull it up on your phone using the My Social Security website. The idea is to make it easier to prove your number without carrying a fragile paper card around. It might be helpful in situations like job applications or bank visits. But again, what about folks who don't have a smartphone or who aren't comfortable using apps? It's meant to make life easier, but it could accidentally shut some people out if we're not careful. And speaking of security, the SSA says fraud prevention is a top reason for all these changes. Last year alone, nearly $9 billion was lost due to overpayments. That's a massive number. But the critics argue that many of these fixes are like using a sledgehammer when a screwdriver might do. For instance, direct deposit fraud accounts for less than 1% of all errors. Yet it's one of the main reasons they're pushing these changes. So it's worth asking, are we solving the right problems? You see, there's this tension right now between modernization and accessibility. On one hand, there's a real need to upgrade systems that are decades old. Just pausing for a moment to share something that could really help you or someone you care about. If you're 65 or older, or helping someone who is, you probably know how overwhelming Medicare can feel. The mailers, the endless calls, all claiming they have the best plan, it's exhausting. When my team and I were looking into this, we came across Chapter, and what stood out wasn't just that they compare all 24,000 plus plans. It was their story. The founders built Chapter after their own parents got stuck in the wrong Medicare plans, and they realized just how many people were being misled or pressured into making choices that weren't right for them. That's what makes Chapter different. Their advisors aren't paid to push one plan over another. They're salaried, independent, and genuinely there to help you. You'll speak with a real person who takes the time to understand your doctors, prescriptions, and preferences and helps you make a decision you feel good about. And the call is totally free. No pressure, no gimmicks, just honest support. If you're already in the right plan, they'll tell you. And if not, they'll help you find one that better fits your needs. If you want to talk to someone today, give Chapter a call at 615-639-1937 or visit askchapter.org/money. Again, that's 615-639-1937. It's free, and it might save you a lot of stress. All right, now let's get back to it. On the other hand, we can't forget who Social Security is really for: seniors, people with disabilities, low-income folks who need the help the most. If we're not careful, the very people this system was built to protect could end up getting left behind. And yeah, it's true, some of the changes won't hit everyone all at once. In fact, experts say we probably won't feel the full impact this year. But the groundwork is being laid now. The systems are being redesigned, the staffing levels are shifting, and the tools are changing. So even if you don't feel it today, it could affect how you interact with the SSA tomorrow. So what does this mean for you? Well, if you're already receiving benefits, you may want to check your My Social Security account regularly. Make sure your banking info is up to date, and if you're not comfortable using the online system, reach out to someone you trust for help. And if you're still years away from retirement, This is a good reminder to pay attention, because how Social Security works now might not be how it works when it's your turn. Now, I'm curious, how do you feel about these updates? Are the changes helpful, frustrating, maybe a bit of both? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your experience could really help someone else feel less alone. And hey, if this helped you make sense of what's going on, feel free to give it a like or hit that subscribe button. We've got more updates and plain talk coming your way soon. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and take care of yourself.